All right, if you've ever tried to develop custom nodes for Comfy UI, you definitely know the feeling. That bug that just shouldn't be there, the change you made that just didn't happen. These are what I call ghost bugs, and they are silent killers of your time and your sanity. Today, we're ghost hunting. We're going to break down exactly what these impossible bugs are and arm you with a survival guide to make sure they never haunt your projects again. Let's get into it. Look, none of this is theory. Every single thing we're about to cover comes straight from the trenches of development. It's all born from real, collective community pain. So don't think of this as a tutorial. Think of it more like a field guide, written with the scars from way too many late-night debugging sessions. You've been there, right? You know you fixed it. You're staring at the code. It looks perfect. You run it one more time, and that same old bug is still there, just staring back at you. This isn't just you going crazy, it's a fundamental structural quirk in how Comfy UI operates, and just understanding that is the first step to getting your sanity back. So let's turn that shared frustration into a proper diagnosis. We're about to peel back the curtain and see exactly where these ghosts are coming from. The good news is they aren't random, they have a source, and once you see it, you'll never be able to unsee it. It turns out that pretty much all of these head-scratching issues can be sorted into three main categories. We're going to call them the three silent killers. And once you learn to spot which one you're dealing with, you can go from totally confused to fixed in just a few minutes instead of a few hours. Okay, this here is the whole map. Let's break it down real quick. First up, stale code. This is the classic, I swear I changed this file, but nothing happened. The reason? Comfy UI is literally still running the old version of your code from its memory. Next, stale state. This is when your node just doesn't run at all. No logs, no breakpoints, nothing. That's Comfy UI's cache-in getting a little too clever and deciding it can just skip your node. And finally, the sneakiest of all, stale UI mapping. Your node runs, but it gets total garbage fed into it. That's your saved workflow file quietly betraying you. We're going to tackle each one of these. Let's start with the number one killer, the one that gets almost everybody, the environment itself. This is the root cause of all those stale code bugs, and it all comes down to a really simple but critical misunderstanding of how Comfy UI actually finds and runs your custom nodes. This right here, this is the core concept you have to get right. Comfy UI only reads from its custom_nodes folder. That folder is a deployment target, not your workspace. You should be editing your code in a completely separate project folder, your source repo, and then syncing those changes over. If you edit directly in custom nodes, you're going to lose your work eventually. But if you edit in your repo and then forget to sync, well, you're just debugging old code. And this is exactly what happens. You remember to sync the file, awesome, but you forget to restart Comfy UI. The Python interpreter has no idea you changed that file on the disk. It already has the old version of your code loaded up in memory. And let me be clear, just hitting qprompt again does not reload your code. You have to do a full restart of the server. But wait, it gets better. There's a sneaky little accomplice in all of this, the _pycache folder. Python creates these folders full of compiled.pyc files to make things load faster. The problem is, if you sync your new .p file, but an old stale .pyc file is still hanging around, Python might just load that old bytecode instead, making your beautiful new code completely invisible. The rule is simple, when in doubt, just delete _pycache. So this all builds up to a simple, foolproof ritual. A disciplined change loop. 4 steps, you do them every single time. 1. Edit your code in your source repo. 2. Run a full sync of the entire package, not just the one file you touched. 3. Nuke the PyCache folders in both your source and deployment locations. And 4. Fully restart the Comfy UI server. You follow this and stale code bugs just cease to exist. Okay, another classic environment trap. You're in your terminal, you run pip install some package, and everything looks great. Then you fire up Comfy UI, and bam, module not found. What happened? Well, you just installed that package to your main system Python, which Comfy UI's self-contained portable version completely and totally ignores. The fix is to be super explicit. First, go find Comfy UI's very own Python executable. It's usually tucked away in a folder called Python_embedded. Second, use that exact executable to run pip. And third, just to be sure, use that same executable again to run a quick one-liner to import the package and verify it worked. This guarantees the package lands exactly where Comfy UI can actually see it. All right, now for our second silent killer, and oh boy, this one's a doozy. We are now entering the workflow JSON minefield. This is where those nasty stale UI mapping bugs are born, and it is probably the most confusing and poorly documented part of building custom nodes. This is the secret. You need to burn this into your brain. When you save a workflow, the values from your widgets, the text boxes, the sliders, all of it are saved in an array. The first value in that array belongs to the first widget in your code's input types definition. The second value belongs to the second widget, and so on. It has nothing to do with the name of your widget. It's all about position. And that one simple fact leads directly to something called the sticky widget bug. So imagine you add a new widget right in the middle of your list of inputs. When you load an old workflow, the JSON has no idea about your new widget. It just shoves its saved values into the slots based on the old positions. Suddenly, all the widgets after the one you added get the wrong data. A Boolean value gets crammed into a string field, a number goes into a dropdown. And the worst part? No errors. It just silently breaks. Let's watch this train wreck happen in slow motion. Before, enabled is at position 0 and custom block list is at position 1. Everything lines up. Then we get clever and add banana filter at position 1. Now we load that old workflow. Its first value, true, still goes to position 0, which is still enabled. No problem. But its second value, some text, now goes to the new position 1, which is banana filter. And the original value for custom block list? It's gone. The whole thing is shifted, corrupted, and utterly broken. So the big takeaway here is you have to treat any change to your widget list like it's a database migration. It's serious business. If you add a widget, you have to manually go into all of your saved workflow JSON files and stick its default value into the widget's values array at the exact right spot. If you remove one, you have to delete its value. If you reorder them, you have to reorder the values to match. I know, it's tedious, but it is the only way to avoid chaos. Okay, we have faced down the two biggest silent killers. Now let's take all this hard-won knowledge and pack it into a practical survival kit, a set of simple checklists that you should run through before you even think about committing your code. Here is your general pre-flight checklist. Sync everything. Clear the caches. If you're paranoid, hash the files to prove the sync actually worked. Run a quick syntax check just to catch any dumb typos. And of course, do a full restart and a test run. This little list right here will save you from every single stale code bug. And now for the specialized checklist for the most dangerous game of all, touching your widgets. Obviously, update the code, but the absolutely critical step, the one you can't forget, is to then go manually edit all of your saved JSON files to match that new structure. And remember, your test isn't done until you've loaded a workflow from a file, not just by hitting Q on the current UI. And here's a quick one for those fun GPU errors. Usually it's a mismatch in data types, or one tensor is on the CPU and another is on the GPU, or you've got the wrong dimensions. But what's the most important rule on this slide? After you fix that tensor code, you still have to do a full restart. Why? Because you just fixed a stale code bug, and just hitting Q won't load your fix. See? It all connects. If you walk away with only one thing from this entire explainer, please let it be this. This one mental shift from seeing custom nodes as your messy workbench to seeing it as a clean, final deployment destination is the absolute foundation for stable, predictable, and sane development in Comfy UI. And let's just end on why this all matters. These aren't just arbitrary rules. This is shared knowledge. Every single bug that you prevent by being this disciplined is a bug that someone else in the community won't have to tear their hair out over. By coding cleanly, you're not just helping yourself, you're helping make the entire ecosystem less frustrating for everybody. So with this new toolkit, you're not a victim of these silent killers anymore. You're a ghost hunter. The next time something feels impossible or just plain weird, you'll know exactly what to look for. The only question left is, what bug are you going to stop before it even gets a chance to haunt you?